They were dead for a while. Hello, my fam. Perez Hilton here, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and I've got a lot of new details and a timeline for the death of iconic actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy. The pair were married for decades. The Oscar winner was 95 years old. His much younger wife was just 64. And on Wednesday, their bodies were discovered in Santa Fe, where they had lived also for decades. A lot of very disturbing details emerged after that, such as their front door was unlocked and showed no sign of forced entry. One of their dogs was found deceased in a closet inside the bathroom. 2 other dogs survived, though. His body was discovered in a mudroom with his glasses next to him, and officers are speculating. Their working theory is that he fell. And oddly, that same theory is currently the leading one for his wife. Santa Fe authorities believe that she fell in the bathroom. In addition to her body, a space heater was found right next to her, as was an open prescription pill bottle with pills scattered around her. And today, Santa Fe County Sheriff Adan Mendoza said that those pills are a, quote, very important evidence. The sheriff was interviewed. He was asked that he may not be at liberty to share what the pills were because of medical privacy, but the sheriff was asked, is it possible that the prescription could be related in any way to the deaths that we've seen here? The sheriff said that's obviously very important evidence at the scene. That information was collected. That information was passed to the Office of the Medical Investigator to help them make a determination. So we're looking at that specifically and other medications that were possibly in the residence. So that is something of concern. The police, after they were alerted of a welfare check, went to court and obtained a search warrant that allowed them to make the house a crime scene investigation. And the family is being kept away from the house because of that. Gene's daughter, Leslie Allen, says the following: "The police won't let us go in when they're still investigating. We will be going out there." Gene's family was worried that they had suffered carbon monoxide poisoning, but that has already been ruled out by local authorities. The fire department in Santa Fe came, performed tests, and no leak was discovered inside or outside of the house. The Hackmans lived in that home for more than 30 years, and his daughter says there's never been an issue with the house before. She says it's all very strange and that there was, quote, no indication of any problem in their house. His daughter says that the passing of Gene and his wife, not the mother of the children. Gene had 3 kids from a previous marriage. She calls this all upsetting, adding, quote, "I much would have rather my dad pass peacefully, but hopefully if it was carbon monoxide poisoning, there was no suffering with that. That's my main concern." That's already been ruled out. The daughter says that they are staying in touch with the authorities in Santa Fe and will wait to find out what actually happened before they travel to New Mexico. I'm trying to be very, everybody handles things differently. If that were my father, I would be out in Santa Fe already. I would fly out there, drive out there. I would be there now. Also incredibly sad, local police say that their bodies, both of them, were found in a state of decomposition. Specifically, his wife was even in worse shape with bloating in her face and mummification in her hands and feet. perhaps exacerbated by the space heater that was found next to her. Sheriff Mendoza says, "It's been very difficult to put a timeline together, even with the help of the Office of the Medical Investigator. Just based on their body and other evidence on the body, it appears that they were deceased for several days, even up to a couple of weeks." The maintenance man who called 911, who works for the private gated community, told the dispatcher that he had not seen them in weeks. Once again, I'm just incredibly confused and sad why his 3 children had not rang the alarm, raised some red flags, why this happened. The sheriff says that they are trying to retrace their final days and see who the 2 may have spoken to leading up to their death. Anybody that could provide them with information that would be helpful in the investigation. However, it has not been easy. The sheriff says that it's been a challenge because the pair were very private individuals and a private family. That's not the only roadblock local authorities have encountered. The sheriff says that it's also been difficult to determine whether Jean and Betsy died in the house at the same time or not. A critical piece of information, I think, because if one died first, right now there's just a lot of theories, a lot of questions, and very little answers. The authorities are obviously looking into that, who died first, but they think that the answers to many questions will come from the autopsies in the end. Quote, "There's no indication that anybody was moving about the house or doing anything different, so it's very hard to determine if they both passed at the same time or how close they passed together. We're trying to put that information together, and I think the autopsy report is going to be key to this investigation." And in a very interesting development, the Santa Fe fire chief says that they are not fully ruling out the gas leak theory yet, even though the fire department and the gas company both found zero evidence of a leak or issues with the pipes. According to the fire chief, a leak may have possibly been a factor since Jean and Betsy were found several days after their deaths, possibly a couple of weeks after their deaths. The fire chief says that was a home with natural gas in it, so it could have played a factor. There's a lot of unanswered questions there. When we arrived, we made sure our people, as well as the sheriff, were safe, and there was nothing that we found. We also went back again yesterday to do another round of searches, and we didn't find anything as well. So if there really was no leak, then those pills might have the answers. However, the sheriff is not ruling out foul play. The sheriff says, "I think the autopsy results, the official results, are going to steer us in the right direction. The autopsy is key. That's going to take some time, so I hope a little bit of patience on the family's part, on everybody's part, so we can have some answers into these deaths." Very troubling deaths. But patience. The sheriff says a toxicology report could take some time. It could take up to 3 months or even possibly longer. But we're hoping it comes sooner than later, he adds. It just depends how busy the laboratory is. So, this is a lot to take in. So many developments, so many moving pieces here. Let's discuss in the comments section. What do you think of the latest? Leave me your thoughts and I will respond